Hello everyone, this is us again, and we will start our story about Dagestan in the coolest place where we could only start. And it's great that we have arrived at such a moment, and we will be able to show the colors of Dagestan, to show how cool, hospitable and kind people are here. Then we will go to see the mountains and other beauty that is in the Republic of Dagestan. This is the time to talk a little with one of the local residents of Dagestan, just like that some guy is sitting. Now we will ask him. Excuse me, hello, are you local?
No, Dagestano, Italiano.
Why don't you speak Italian?
Slow down, welcome.
Okay, just kidding. We in Moscow won't deceive you.
Where else may Dagestan be? Dagestan Muscovite.
Those are local colors. I haven't seen cars below. It doesn't seem to have a chance of driving through a speed bump. There are so many inconsistencies on the roads here. Wouldn't it wash away then? I'll wash it away, I will. Crap, it's such a pity. Well, don't know, I think a car owner doesn't care if it would wash away. Wait, does he know you are drawing? Yes, he does. Take a look how many cars are below. My Alfa Romeo about the same. So, the coolest car have arrived. Ford Mustang. Come, I'll show you the most important thing in this car. I told you you shouldn't eat 16 calis for dinner. Are you gathering the main car party in the city?
That sounds too pretentious. It seems to me that Kamil is the head of automotive events and we are just the most active. Last year we made an event that brought together 90 cars, and in general, if someone in Dagestan wants to organize an event, we will always support that. As for today's event, especially, today is exactly 6 months from the sad date when our friends passed away, and we would like to commemorate Said and Zaur Ibragimov. When I remember Said, the first thing I remember is his shrill laughter, and I start to smile. At least we tried to make the atmosphere joyful.
I'm sure they would definitely like this party.
Yes.
What is the difference between people in Moscow and Dagestan?
Actually, if a person wasn't an outcast, he did have right environment, right friends, and did receive right upbringing, then he is a worthy person everywhere. Unfortunately, there are a lot of very hot guys, but they don't show themselves negative neither. But they can react sharply to something, not only in Dagestan, but anywhere else in the world. It doesn't depend on location.
In Ingushetia we've been grabbed a couple of times. Not a single time we have been in Dagestan.
Most likely you were told about clothes, yep?
Yes, although we were preparing. We put on long hoodies. But it turned out that you can't walk in leggings even if the hoodies are long.
In fact, there have never been such a restriction before. I have not heard about them before. The thing is that before they could not have opened parts of their bodies, it was always considered sacred. But in the Caucasus, they are trying to preserve these traditions, these values which we are close to, which correspond to religious canons. Said, please tell me how you usually dress. Is it normal for girls to wear leggings, skirts, shorts?
Girls are just unprepared because they didn't know.
Well, in leggings, of course, it's not desirable, but in skirts below the knee, one can wear it without problems. One can also wear dresses. In our mountains part of Dagestan, people, so to speak, are still of that hardening. Therefore, in order to avoid unpleasant situations, in order not to spoil the rest, of course, it's better not to stick to the local dress code. Got it. Can you hold hands, huh? You can hold hands in the city. Husband can hold his wife's hand, but hugging is inappropriate.
I've seen many girls without headscarves in town.
Yes, not everyone wears headscarves either. It's a little easier in town anyway. It's normal when they come and ask you questions. You're still a guest, and this is the house, and it has its own rules. And when you do not respect the rules, it's primarily an insult. The Dagestan guys here in Moscow are the same, but they don't accept when they are reprimanded. This is again the wrong upbringing and the wrong view of the world. Because their authorities and their elders, unfortunately, have not yet given them complete information about the inner world. Surely everyone knows the poem, "Don't anger others and don't be angry yourself."
No.
No?
I don't know.
Don't you really know?
No. Will you tell me? Or don't you remember by rote?
Don't anger others and don't be angry yourself. We're guests in this world. Oh, do you know why I got embarrassed? I acted a lot, but I have never recited poetry on camera. Don't anger others and don't be angry yourself. We are guests in this mortal world. If something isn't right, humble yourself. Be smarter and smile. Think with a cold heart. It seems like it has to be that way. Wait a second, I'll think. Guess what? I forgot.
Tell me please, were you born in Dagestan?
I was born and raised in Kalmykia, but my roots are from Dagestan. Every year of my life, at least of my conscious ages, I spent the whole summer in Dagestan. At the age of 15, 16, 17, I spent the summer in Derbent town, in Makhachkala and Kaspisk. I used to go to the gyms.
Wow, that is such a beautiful town. We liked it there so much.
Which one? Derbent?
Derbent.
You probably like the old town.
Is there a new one too?
The one that is closer to mountains is called the Old Town, where the Derbent Fortress is.
They say that in terms of their power, the walls of this fortress were not inferior to the Great Wall of China. That's the thickness of the walls, just amazing. No wonder the fortress was so impregnable. In some places, the thickness of the walls reached 5 meters. And more and more and more. I know that from the building materials that went to the construction of this fortress could be built 7 pyramids of Cheops. You know, the most amazing thing is that historians have not been able to find out who built it. Of course, there are so many legends. One of them says that the founders of the fortress were fire-breathing giants, lived here before the advent of mankind. And another legend says that Alexander the Great himself was the founder of the fortress. I wonder if he knows about it. No, seriously, the great commander ordered to build a fortress here so that no one could pass between the mountains. But most historians still consider it a legend and claim that Alexander the Great never visited these lands. The height of the fortress is about 20 meters plus or minus, and the thickness of the wall is 3.5 meters. Probably soundproofing is just luxurious. What else you need to know about the fortress? The Hans Palace used to be here, but it's really bad luck. The entrance to the palace remains, but the palace itself is no more. Another interesting fact on the territory of the fortress and 2 underground prisons. Do you remember I said this prison and this small prison? And if there is still a chance to get out of there alive, then out of the big one, no chance at all. The territory of the fortress was about 4.5 hectares. There was everything necessary to withstand a long siege. For example, there was even a special reservoir for drinking water. True, the fortress was never considered unconquered. Still, they won it 2 or 3 times. It is on the western part that there is a so-called Gate of Shame, and through them the military leaders left the city, who were not ready to surrender. The wall extending from the fortress is called Dagberry. It is located right between the mountains and the sea. Its length is 42 kilometers. It was built in the 6th century AD and was called the Great Caucasian Wall. Now the wall and the fortress are one of the largest defensive structures in the world and are included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. The fortress is a must to visit because it offers absolutely stunning views.
My most favorite place in Dagestan is probably the mountains in general, the mountains of the Caucasus in general. Well, this is an indescribable feeling when you feel the greatness of nature and insignificance of a man himself against the general background. The beauty of the mountains, the strength of the mountains and clean air, icy water. The icy water in the river, it seems to excite you, returns you to the world.
We are in one of the most beautiful places in Russia, the Sulak Canyon. We drove here about 10 kilometers, not on a very good road, in a dense stream of cars, and sometimes it seems that your wheel is just slipping down somewhere.
This location is deeper than Baikal and steeper than the Grand Canyon.
Sonia got it! By the way, my sunnies flew right off my face. Fendi, my favorite.
Тебя глотками ветра в горле.
Well, of course, the Sulak River adds beauty to the canyon. It originates from the top of the main Caucasian bridge and flows into the Caspian Sea. Its length is 169 kilometers, but very often this length is considered together with the Adrian-Coast River, and then the length is 336 kilometers.
Sulak is a word from the our language and it means all together. That is, Sulak is the river into which other rivers merge. There are no specially equipped viewing platforms for tourists here. You really get into wild places and danger lies in wait for you at every turn.
What kind of danger? You added something from your own.
No, there are tourists who come on their own unaccompanied. That year, for example, there was a case. The tourists were on their own unaccompanied, without a guide. They were warned that said that a mud flow came down. They did not listen and 2 tourists were carried away.
Be careful and use the services of a guide because the roads are really unsafe, not equipped. In some places you drive literally on the edge, so it's better, of course, to have an escort. Well, okay, we got excited when we said that there are no equipped viewing platforms. In fact, there is one, and from here an incredible view of the canyon opens. We came to watch the sunset. Insanely beautiful, guys, just incredible. Let's travel further. Do you like local Caucasian cuisine?
Yes, but unfortunately, all the friends with whom I came there scolded me later because they all get fat here very quickly. So delicious food, plus you got to visit everyone and everyone feeds you. Hospitality in the Caucasus, as you yourself know, that wide. In every house they want to feed you, set the table so that you leave happy and could never say that in this house you were not happy even for a second.
And what is your favorite Dagestan dish?
Ola, you are vegan, but I'm still more of a meat eater.
Not a big deal.
Although I'm a meat eater, I love local vegetables and greens and Suluguni cheese and tomatoes, cucumbers, so that everything is on the table and you eat a little bit of this and a little bit of that, add and enjoy the moment. And most of all, I like to eat in nature. It's in the mountains.
When we went to the restaurant to try the national cuisine of Dagestan, we were offered to eat khinkali, or rather it seemed to us so, but it turned out that it was not khinkali, but hinkal. And this hinkal is eaten here in a completely different way.
You can put sour cream on the edge, or as I do, and ground walnuts and a piece of meat.
Dough with ketchup, sour cream and nuts. And with lamb. But lamb is always delicious here. National Dagestan cakes are called chuyo, and they seem to be the same as in Ingushetia and Ossetia, but in fact, there is a significant difference. Firstly, they have a very thin dough, and they are cooked with a very small amount of butter. And to me, to be honest, I like the Dagestan ones more than in Ossetia and Ingushetia. Forgive me, everyone, but they are very tasty.
The Dagestan dish, manti, the Dagestan manti.
What is the exact filling?
Meat.
What are they in general?
They come in season with herbs, cottage cheese, potatoes. They are boiled. There are no Lukoil, Gazprom or other usual Russian gas stations. Why? I don't know why, but we have our own filling stations. They are considered good.
So where should we refuel our Niva?
Astra, good gas station. V&K, good gas station. Original is also a good refueling. Many tourists are surprised by the names of gas stations and shops.
And why did the locals like Lada Priora so much?
Well, because at one time we didn't have auto shops where you could take and buy spare parts for a foreign car. And on Lada Priora, even in grocery stores, you can find spare parts. In the Dagestan, you can sell Priora very quickly, at any time, but you can't sell a foreign car like that. So, in essence,
we don't stand out. We arrived on the Lada, though on the Niva, but they are brand new. We stopped at a gas station, as we already said that there are no official gas stations here, but at the same time all the gas stations say that gas line is from Lukoil, for example. And I was also struck that you go to the gas station and here is written to help yourself to your health, and there is tea, water, and that's all you need about to know Caucasian hospitality. And what do you think are the main character traits of the inhabitants of Dagestan?
Caucasus are good, loyal friends, sincere people.
It's true anyway.
It's just friendship for the sake of friendship, without self-interest. Naturally, there is a category of spoiled people as elsewhere, and there are many more people who did not have money in their lives and at some point achieve something, and the greed effect works for them, and they cease to be noble. And you will feel these people one way or another. but I hope in your life there will be very few such people.
You said it like you've experienced it yourself.
Yes, of course. Many of my countrymen say that you can do business with anyone, but not with your own. This is a good expression because it's very difficult to resolve any issues with your own. It will definitely turn out to be someone's brother or son, and if you borrowed money, then they will return it to you in 10-15 years. And there is nothing you can do about this.
Tell us about the jargon, about the local dialect, some words that you only use.
Ashale jie in kind order and cover the clearing, and something in Dagestan. In fact, I'm a person who has two higher educations, a red diploma, but girls really like such harsh guys. Do you see what's in the background? We are not in Star Wars, although it may seem that. We are in Dagestan, 20 kilometers from the city of Derbent, and this is the Lun ekranoplan.
In the city of Kaspiysk, not far from Makhachkala, in Soviet times a military base were based, where ekranoplans were tested. The first prototype was a mock-up ship, which was simply called KM. The American deciphered its name in a completely different way. It was certainly not correct, but very impressive. It was called the Caspian Monster, but then this prototype crashed due to the pilot error, and after it, this ship was called Lun, became a warship.
It may not be Caspian, but it's definitely a monster. The wingspan of this bird is 44 meters, the height is 19 meters, and is 73 meters long.
6 ZM-80 Mosquito missiles, which are still in service with the Russian army, were installed on this device. They are capable of hitting a target up to 250 kilometers. The Lun project was planned to be launched into mass production, but the collapse of the Soviet Union made its own adjustments. At first, Lun was completed as a search and rescue facility, and then funding stopped altogether and it was mothballed. In early 90s, the Lun was made its last flight. Then they removed all the electronics from it and sent it to the dock into the city of Kaspiysk, where it stood for 30 years, and then it was taken here near Derbent, where it stands as a museum exhibit. They plan to move it out to where they are going to erect a park called Petrol. I don't want to end on such a sad note, so I'll tell you that in 2019, several high-ranking officials started talking about resuming the production of the ekranoplan, and even said that its production would begin near Nizhny Novgorod in 2020. Therefore, there is a possibility that this huge colossus will very soon be in production again, and will go into service with our army. But by the way, today I accidentally put on a sweatshirt of the Russian army. And finally, teach me how to say in Dagestan language, "I'm very hungry," so that I can be fed even more everywhere in Dagestan.
The fact is that there are a lot of nationalities in Dagestan. Everyone has different languages.
I didn't even know about it.
Listen, people of the same nationality live in different villages, and sometimes they do not understand each other.
Did you know? I didn't.
Well, for example, the Avars have the Avar language. There are several dialects, and for example, there are Sumadins, such a village. Well, they practically do not understand each other. And I am a Lesgin. I have a Lesgin language. And there are Laks, Tabasarans who mix.
I heard about Lesgins, but I didn't hear about the rest.
In fact, in Dagestan, along with small peoples, there are about 60 nationalities. Which language will you be taught?
And one that you know.
Зонкишия.
Как?
Зонкишия.
Зонкишия.
Зон.
Кишия.
Кишия.
No,
Нет, не
doesn't work out.
It seems like a little bit.
Кишия.
Let's still say something else. Zeaya Rushya. People who know this language will write this in the comments.
Зон, аяр,
Зин, ая,
Рушия.
Рушия.
Еще раз. Зон, аяр, Рушия.
Зин, ая.
And you know that I'm half Georgian, but I don't know a word of
Ни
Georgian?
одного.
Not a single one. I know Ginetsvali.
Во всем мире
All over the world, initially, the Lezginka dance originated among Georgians. But my great-grandmother told my grandmother that her elder allegedly told her that there were negotiations and peace between the Lezgins and Georgians.
были переговоры.
Our Lezginka was married off to a Georgian prince, and together with her, they also presented a dance that is, they say, showed this dance to the Georgians. This is how the Lezginka dance was born in the Caucasus.
Oh my god.
This is how the story goes.
Can you dance Lezginka?
Yes, I can't show it right now. I have expensive shoes, and when you dance from the heart, shoes go to waste right away. Okay, guys, thank you all. We are waiting for you all in Dagestan. Our region is very beautiful, the landscapes are unreal, there is a lot to see, delicious cuisine, kind people, and unusually beautiful region. This year, the Caucasus was visited by a huge number of people. I hope that the infrastructure in my republic will develop, that a lot of money will be invested there, namely in the tourist direction. Hospitality, of course, you can impress, but it's always good when a man comes to visit a beauty hotel at an affordable price with good food available.
Блин, как я мог стихотворение забыть?
Don't anger others and don't be angry. We are guests in this world. And if something is wrong, humble yourself. Be smarter and smile. Think with a calm head. After all, the evil is radiated by you will surely come back to you.
Perfect.
Salam alaikum, Amar Khayyam.
Амар Хайям. Не так надо было говорить по-дагестански.
Amar is really Khayyam.